and address for the record.
Christine Shreve, 147 Shoe Lane. So I think what is stressing everybody out back here is understudy leaves room for it to be sitting beside a park. Well, we all know that. And so we're explaining why we don't think it should be considered for anything aside from a park, and why we don't think there should be a question in your guys' minds, because there's not a question in ours. So I just graduated from CMU, and I love it here. So I'm new too, and the reason I love it so much here is because I love the river. I love these green spaces. And I just graduated with a degree in psychology and religion, and I actually have been doing some research on the psychological impact that green spaces have on communities and individuals. So I thought I'd share some of that with you. So in a study done in 2015 by Lobo and colleagues, there were, it was in India actually, there was a neuroimaging study looking at how the amygdala was affected by green spaces. And they studied the amygdalas of people in places with natural environments and urban environments. And what they found is in urban environments, the amygdala was more active. So the amygdala is basically what is known for controlling anger, depression, anxiety, like negative emotionality. And so individuals who had urban environments and no natural spaces had more active amygdalas, meaning they would have these more negative emotions, more negative feelings. And so this study really suggests that these natural spaces are important for our mental health, for our well-being. And with only 2.7% green spaces, that's something we're so concerned about. And this is not the only study. There was another study done by Lee and colleagues in 2015 that had people in offices stare at greenery on the roof for 40 seconds and then stare at like a normal urban rooftop for 40 seconds. And what they found is looking at greenery and being near greenery actually increased focus for the workers, suggesting that, you know, in our city we need to have places to go, rest, regain focus, come back, do hard work, you know, build the city to make it what we want it to be. Another study by Mahler and colleagues in 2006, it was actually a meta-analysis that looked at studies analyzing how natural spaces impacts the urban dwelling individuals. What they found is urban environments that had parks increased the well-being of the residents, and that they also suggested that would be good for very specific groups of people, like people who were ill, poor communities, that these spaces were really important for their mental health and well-being. And another study done by Lee and colleagues in 2015 looked at the sympathetic nervous systems of individuals who were working with computers and then individuals who were working with plants. And people who were interacting with nature, they found that their blood pressure was lower because they were more relaxed, they were soothed, they were calm. And so basically what all these studies are suggesting is these spaces are so important for our mental health. All of us, you know, when we're having a long day, we want to go outside, watch the sunset. And as a CMU student, I know that is something that people crave. I talked to my friend last week, I'm like, gonna stay in the area? And he was like, no, there's not enough like natural environment here, and I need that, and I love that. And that's the way everybody feels. And to take away more of it just doesn't make sense, and that's why we don't want it to be a question of understudy. We don't want it to be a potential for anything. I don't think commercial, as in like building shops there, is good either. We can have that in so many other places, but we don't have the space, and once it's gone, we're not gonna like tear up the concrete later and like replant grass and trees. That's just not gonna happen, and so that's why it's just not a question for us. But thank you guys for listening.
Thank you very much.
I reside at 1004 Hampton Avenue in Newport News. I am usually at this podium and fighting for Huntington Middle School, but today I'm here in support of those that are fighting for the retention of the Riverview Farm Park. And I want to tell you guys, if it's any consolation to you, if it takes them as long to decide this issue as it has taken to develop the southeast part of Newport News, you all can enjoy your park for about another 25 years. It's previously been said that we have enough buildings in the city, and what we are looking for is green space. We are destroying the beauty that God created for dollars. The destruction of the park is about money. Keep the green in the city. Give us an opportunity to breathe some fresh air somewhere. because we can't do that in southeast Newport News either. So I'm just here today to tell you all to keep up the fight. We want to see a park. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rogers, Christopher Newport University. I'm looking to stay more long-term though, so I'm looking for a house currently. But yeah, I just wanted to, I'm going to be brief for time's sake, but just emphasize from a CMU student the importance of having parks nearby and waterfront access specifically. I know that there's not a lot of, Lionsgate Bridge, but besides that, there's not a lot of access to the water, and that's a very important time in my days as a student to be able to go to the waterfront and experience like more relaxing times there in a high-stress environment, which is school. So I think it is a very important thing to have a riverfront park. Likewise, I am a photographer and an artist, and I have a lot of creative friends as well, and it is a really amazing space to be able to take photos and experience nature and yeah, just make art in those locations as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
I'm at 147 Sheen. I'm also a CMU student. So I don't have any statistics or studies for you. I just have my story and the stories of my friends. I, like many others in this room, request that the comprehensive plan remove any references to Riverview Farm Park as understudy or other consideration for any use other than for the free public. Green space is extremely important to young people. It's important to myself and my friends who came here with me, and my peers and other students at CNU. We live to see the sunsets on the James, and we take every chance to find places where we can spend time outdoors after being cooped up in class all day. This is important to our mental health, as my friend Christine just mentioned to you all. Riverview Farm Park is an important part of the Newport News community. And young people like me and my friends who came here today are looking for more places where we can gather together and appreciate nature. This is one of the biggest reasons why many of my friends became and are becoming residents after they graduate. They want to stay in the Newport News community. Many of them came from Northern Virginia and fell in love with Newport News because of places like Riverview Farm Park, and they want to be on the peninsula surrounded by all this water. Riverview Farm Park provides that access. Places with open water and adventures. I think people underestimate that places like Riverview Farm Park is one of the biggest draws to Newport News for people my age. Please allow it to exist as a protected public parkland so me and my friends can be able to have a free place to explore and appreciate the water and the city of Newport News that we love.
Thank you very much. Generation coming up being involved. We thank you for being here.
My name is Rachel Chung. I'm from 147 Sherlene. I'm also a recent CMU graduate, and I believe in preserving the park just to be a place of nature. And one of the things that drew me to coming and living here at CMU, and now as a recent graduate, I just fell in love with the natural environment that's around here. And I think it would be really awesome to just continue to preserve that and find that, to keep that as an importance in the community. And as an artist as well, like I just love just being around nature and just seeing all the, just like the natural environment and just what Newport News has to offer with that. So I think that it's really important to preserve that and having the park as a green space. So,
thank you very much.
I'm Reverend James Brown. I'm opening a business on Chestnut Avenue called Concerned Citizens for Justice.
Reverend Brown, I'm sorry, your address, please?
My address currently is 46 West Stone Drive.
Thank you.
I'm a resident of Ridley Circle. I graduated from high school and went to college, studied masonry, came out, started my own business. Retired 4 years ago and came back to work because of the situation in downtown Newport News, the crime situation and the youth situation. But I want to say, first of all, piggybacking on what Don Green has said about the green area. I lived at 6 Tuckahoe Drive. I'm glad someone else in here lived there in that area also. And I have 4 kids that graduated from Minchfield High School. So while I was living off of Tuckahoe in Deep Creek section, we visited that park. And it's a great park. It's a great place for people to go to relax. But I say that to say that we can't keep knocking down trees and getting rid of green areas. The lower section of Newport News today is highly contaminated because of all the smog and the lack of trees and green area. The land is contaminated down there. Someone mentioned earlier about the plan for the future, the buildings and things that should have been taking place. That hasn't happened. 2008, that stuff was approved by the city. And now it's 2018, and nothing has happened. Someone mentioned earlier also about the crime in downtown Newport News. Well, where there's no vision, the people perish. The pastor can agree to that. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Where there's no opportunity for young people to better themselves, they turn into crime. The city needs to do a better job of providing places where young people can go to get jobs and be trained. The center that I'm opening up is called Concerned Citizen. But in that center, what I'm doing is teaching trades, training people, and teaching them skills so that they can earn a job. I'm teaching them masonry. I'm teaching them painting. I'm teaching them how to install carpet. I got people coming in doing electronics and electricity. Because we don't have it. This city is an industry city that has all these trades. But our kids are not getting used to them. They're not being given an opportunity to learn the trades. Many of them don't have cars, so they can't go out to the tech centers and everything. So on 27th Street, downtown Newport News, in the heart of what y'all call the ghetto, I'm opening up a school. I would like to get some support from the city as far as the business end is concerned, that we might be able to support these young people. Because it's no more dangerous downtown than it is in other areas of the city. I've lived in Deep Creek. I now live in Farmington, where they have crime. They have crime all over the city. But in the downtown area, most of the crime or the criminals that come down here, they don't live in the city. They don't live downtown. They're coming from other areas, doing their shooting and stuff. They don't live down here. So what I want to do is to give the children, the young folk down here, an opportunity to have some skills and some training to make some money so they won't be encouraged to go into gangs and commit crime. Can I get some support from the city on that?